in our domain, thing that we have more control over, we can make it far more secure. Okay, which is why, when you go to banks, okay, they would want to keep your personal data in their data center rather than keeping it on cloud. Because remember, even AWS is a data center. When you are giving your customers information or keeping your customers data information in somebody else's infrastructure, okay, you are in a way, if a hack happens, uh, if there is some violation there, they can also access your customers data. So which is why most of the banks, since data security is something that they're looking at, okay, they want to have their own data centers and keep their data in there, okay, while rest of the services which doesn't have data or which doesn't store data is kept in a cloud environment. Cloud environment is good because you don't want to manage it, but since we are not able to manage it, we lose control. You don't have control of where, uh, like what you can just control which region it is created. Okay, you cannot control which server it is created. You cannot control where it is. You lose control when you are using managed services. In server, you can still get some access, but there is another concept in cloud computing, that is managed services, wherein, example, you need a data center, you need a database. All you tell them is, I need a database. They will go ahead, create a database and share an access to you now. But you don't get full control of that database. You will get, there will be some part that they might restrict for themselves or you to do, which is why, okay, let's take it this way. When you have like a bank, when you have to go to a bank and submit some money, okay, or deposit some money, what is, what do you trust the most? Yourself. You would like to go ahead and do it by yourself. When it is a check, okay, you understand that a check is written on somebody's name by somebody, so it's like, even if you give it to somebody else, they cannot go ahead and encash it. But when it is cash, somebody can just go ahead and run, okay, put it in their account. What can you do with that? Nothing. So that's why your money you want to keep with you, go ahead and submit in person. So if, when it is a lot of money, right, you want to do it by yourself, okay, or by just some trusted people, okay. You will not go ahead and outsource that activity, okay. Example, um same example of for money. When it comes to money, you will only give it to few people, okay, closed people, that okay, keep this money with you, whenever I'll need it, I'll take it. Okay, when you give it to bank become responsible. And bank, since it is, um it has a lot of RBI rules, restrictions, you trust that bank. Okay, if you don't trust the bank, you won't go ahead and deposit your money there. Okay, same way, your customers information is your asset, okay, which is why more and more secure you would like to keep it. You would like to keep your infrastructure more secure, because there are cases wherein hackers went into the database, cleared an entire database of a company, and asked for a compensation money. Pay me in these many bitcoins. These kind of crimes doesn't happen only for you, but also for companies. When it happens to a person, it can happen to a lakh, 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs, 50 lakhs. But for a company, it can be crores, 2 crores, 3 crores, plus also 2 crores, 3 crores, 100 crores, any number. Okay, depending on the scale of the company. Plus also, your customer loses trust in you. That's what happened with Mark Zuckerberg when there was a data leak that happened and all of that. That kind of scenario happened, that he was called in US Senate, and he was asked a lot of questions, that what are the data that you're saving and all of that. You lose customers because of this. A person who understands all of this will not come to a company who's selling your own data. And today, since we are living in this generation, okay, data is everyone's asset. Okay, so use that wisely, which is why for security, since banks are highly secure systems because they're dealing with finances, they're dealing with your money. Okay, so banks, financial institutions, they would want to keep your data in their data centers, while for computing, for capacity, servers, and all of that, they can still consume that, because for them slowness is okay. They are not any Amazon or Flipkart that they have to keep on doing some new features every time. Okay, they are managing your finance, so they have to keep it more and more secure. Okay, so they'll be more and more restricted, right? They don't want to do anything quickly. In banks, does it, things don't happen quickly. Why? Because they're dealing with your money. One sign here and there, one problem here and there can make or break their reputation, right? So which is why always something that you have control over, I can control it. Okay, you can make it more secure. Okay, as in consider yourself as the as a very good SRE who has been like working for years and years. Now tell me, would you like to go for a cloud, or you want to keep it on yourself? You would like to keep it with yourself, because when it comes to security, you believe in yourself that okay, I can keep it more secure than AWS people. I would like to keep my customers data with me so that it can never be incorrectly used. Plus also, when it comes to finances, data, banks, there are specific other guidelines also that comes in whichever country you work in. Example, there are countries who doesn't allow data to go outside their country. Okay, example, even China, if example you have a bank and you're in China also, they never allow their own country's data to go out. Okay, they track each and everything. Your government will track each and everything. It's not like India everywhere that okay, you do whatever you want to. In India also there are restrictions. Okay, but in other countries there are more and more restrictions. Okay, example, in Vietnam also you cannot take data out of the country. Okay, when it comes to finances, financial data, it cannot go out of the country. So when it has to stay in the country, it means either you will have to create it in cloud and in the same data center where of the country itself. If there is no data center in the country, okay, that means you will have to have your own server rooms where you are keeping the data, because if you keep the data outside the country, it's not allowed. You cannot allow even processing of that data. Processing means some data will go, it will be processed, deleted. That is also in some countries not allowed for financial data, which makes it more restricted for us, but it's very secure and it's good for the citizens of the country. Okay, as in it's good for us also. When our own country tries to impose some specific rules on some banks or some uh, this and that organizations, it is important as a customer for us to understand that it is done for us and our data. It is done to secure our data and make it less leakable. Okay, that's why even if you see, some days back there was a news that Aadhaar card's data was hacked and it was sold somewhere on dark web, wherein some customer was buying your Aadhaar card information and all of those information. He There was one organization that was managing, that was actually coordinating with that hacker and asked them to give some data. That data was actually right, and there was something happened that in that side also in our industry. in a software industry. So why is it more important to keep this data secure? Is because of all of this. Okay, data security. So that's why we try avoiding or giving this important responsibility to some other entity, and would like to keep it with ourselves only for security purposes. Okay, so this happens more with banks, financial institutions, rather than more of like e-commerce, gaming companies. They kind of don't want, they want more capacity, they want more compute, they want to be more faster rather than slow. So having a data center will slow you down, but you have to trade off between slow and secure. Okay, you can make your cloud environment also secure, but trade off is going to happen there. Okay, still some level of insecurity you'll have because you don't have the data, it's kept somewhere else in some other country and some other with some other company, and it's your data, your customers data, so you won't be able to protect it that much. The more you can do, they won't be able to do it. Okay, because you understand your customer, they don't.